Hi YouTube, it's Miniforce Wilderness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another Korean toy reviews. Yes, today I managed to get another Korean toy that came in. Got it from AliExpress, and it's another figure from the Miniforce line. Yeah, I don't go mad for the Miniforce line really. I largely concentrate on the Hello Carbot toy line when I buy my Korean toys, or maybe Tobot stuff whenever it's piques my interest. But there's other Korean toys that I have dabbled in, and Miniforce is one of them. But some of the majority of the Miniforce toys that come out don't really appeal to me because you know, they look a bit strange, or they look a bit weird, or they're not proper transforming robot toys or whatever. But every now and again they do come out with something that is kind of interesting and makes me want to get it. But this particular figure that I've got now, when I first saw it, I was a bit dubious about it because the alt mode looks really goofy and stupid, and it wasn't until so I was kind of overlooking it, and it wasn't until Rob Stein 1 did a review on it a while back, and he showed off the robot mode, and I thought, wow, that thing looks amazing. So it made me want to get it. It's taken me a little while to get around to getting one, mainly because I've had trouble of recent times buying Korean toys off the Korean websites, most notably Gmarket, because I used to use the Google Chrome browser to browse these websites, and it was flagging them up saying, oh, this website's unsafe and insecure, and 11th Street, Google Chrome was just blocking my transactions on 11th Street, and more recently it started blocking my transactions on Gmarket as well. So I was sort of in a bit of a difficult place. It was like, do I continue trying to buy stuff off Gmarket, or do I go back to buying stuff off eBay and all the scalper prices that they go for on there? Well, in recent times I've bought a few little bits and bobs, and the eBay thing is, the prices are still really high on eBay, but there's a bit more competition going on there, and the prices, some of the prices are starting to come down a little bit, but it's still not quite as good as buying them off Gmarket. But the problem with buying them off Gmarket 11th Street is that the shipping price has gone up, especially on Gmarket. They used to have EMS and FedEx, and then they FedEx got the exclusivity deal, and then they jacked their price up to more than what EMS was charging, and whatever. So anyway, I've been looking on AliExpress. Now AliExpress, you can buy Korean style toys off AliExpress, but they tend to be the Chinese versions. There's also a lot of knockoffs out there, so you've got to be careful what you buy. But anyway, this figure, I'd seen it, and I could have got it off Gmarket. It would have been more expensive, but then I found it on a seller on AliExpress, and I managed to get it. And it is a Miniforce Animaltron Jawscop. Now Animaltron, I think, is one of the newer seasons of Miniforce. They did a while back, well, a good while back, I got one of these, which was from their Super Power Dino, or Super Dino Power series. This is called Tyranno Thunder, and it's a car that's themed on a dinosaur. It's like a tyrannosaur, and you got this weird looking car that's got this big toothy grin around the front, and these big sort of like reptilian eyes, and it's a really weird looking car, but it transforms into a pretty cool robot. Now what I've got now is a very similar sort of thing, and the clue's in the name, Jawscop. So what we've got is this thing. So it's a similar sort of thing. It's a car, but themed around an animal or a beast. And before we get into the actual toy, let's have a quick look at the packaging. Now, obviously, I've got the Chinese version, so it's come in the Chinese packaging. And as you can see, this is an enormous box. Just like the Korean boxes are huge, and it's made out of pretty hard cardstock. It's got the large plastic window. It's got the plastic clamshell inside with that sort of shiny sort of cardboard backing inside there. So it's a fairly typical Korean style packaging. It's got all the big sort of CGI renders of the character on the side, and all the product information on the bottom, logos on the top. But obviously it's the Chinese version. Did it come with some instructions? It must have done. Well, I'm sure there's some instructions in there somewhere. I haven't actually got them out because you don't really need the instructions to transform these things. But anyway, so I've got the box, and like I said, this is the Chinese version, not the Korean one. The quality of the toy, as I've messed with it, is really, really good. And so let's get on to it, shall we? So here he is. Here's Jawscop in his car. Now the interesting thing about Miniforce Animaltron, in previous seasons of Miniforce, you had the Miniforce range of these little tiny woodland creatures that transformed into human-sized sort of Power Ranger type, people. And then when they came up against giant monsters, they jumped into these robotic mechs and then battled them. And then if they had a really, really big bad guy, then they'd combine together to form some sort of combiner and battle them. But all the robots were mechs. They were controlled by the Miniforce pilots. In Animaltron, I don't know how it was in Super Power Dinos or Super Dino Power, whether they had sentient robots in that. But in Animaltron, all the robots seem to be sentient. They seem to be able to, do their own thing, regardless of whether they're being piloted by the Rangers or not. And as such, this guy is a sentient robot, and that's more up my street. It's all right having a mech, a transforming mech, but if it's a sentient robot that can think for itself and do its own things, then that's also much better. So Jawscop is a sentient robot. Transforming thing. There's actually two cars in the line in this Animaltron. There's this guy and a guy called Leo Cops, and he looks kind of more like this. I haven't got a picture of him, but he looks kind of more like that. But he's themed on a lion rather than a dinosaur, and he's a similar sort of thing. But I wanted to go for this guy. Now you look at his alt mode, and it's a car shaped like a shark. And to be honest, I think it looks super, super goofy. I think it looks really, really goofy. I mean, look at that. Look at that face. It looks really, really goofy. And that kind of put me off wanting to get this thing to begin with. But it wasn't until, like I said, Rob Stein 1 did a review on it and showed me, how cool the robot mode was. It made me want to get it. Now, it's a nice... It's got a good weight to it. It pegs together reasonably well. It's got very, very large pinned wheels, and it rolls really, really well. It rolls super, super well. Now, one thing I want to say about this, for a shark car, it's pretty anatomically correct, because I know a little bit about shark autonomy, and obviously, you go look at the front, and it's got the snout. And it's got the brown, the dead eyes that sharks tend to have. Now this car also has a bit of articulation. He's got an opening jaw, so the upper and lower jaw do open. So it's like a robotic car version of a Gibble from Pokemon, isn't it? It's like Gibble, yeah. So yeah, it does that. So he's got a big toothy maw. And you go down the side, and then you've got these grills here, which are kind of like the gills on a shark. And then you've got the fins. You've got like the dorsal fin, and then you've got like the pectoral fins, and then you've got like the tail fins on the back. It's got these other little fins here as well. So it's got the shark, bits that you'd expect to find on a real shark, even though it's a robotic thing, and it's got wheels, and it's a car, and it drives along on the land. It's got this black section on the top, which I assume is a cockpit for one of the Rangers to ride in if it's along for the ride. But it's a decent looking thing, even if, like I said, it's kind of goofy looking. But I mean, come on. So yeah, there's the car, and it's all right. It's okay. It's good, but the robot mode is what you buy this thing for. I think. I mean, some people would buy it for the shark element, but the robot looks super, super cool, and the transformation on this is a little involved, but it's not. Korean toys tend to be quite straightforward to transform, intuitive for the most part, and they're not too serious. So now, what would be the best way to start? I mean, if you flip it upside down, you can see, you can see like the bits of the legs. You can see that the back of the robot, the arms are tucked in here and stuff like that. So I think you can start by flipping these things round, these fins on these double transparent plastic links. There's quite a bit of transparent plastic on this guy, and then you can sort of start unhooking the back end. So you pull this up a bit, and then you can fold out the hands, then you flip out, unclip the arms, and then flip them out and fold them down. Then you've got the shoulders, which are plugged into the side, so you pull them out and they come down on a linkage like that. And then you've also just fold them forward. You've got these side panels which you can fold out, and then you can get to the front of the vehicle, and then you can just start folding stuff out. So that's folding the legs out. You've got the shark head at the back. That folds down, and then you split the legs. You bring up the feet. Oh. You've got these little blue panels which you fold forwards. And then you've got the jaws bits which fold down the back of the legs. Then you pull the torso up. Well, I've already done it. And then you've got to pull this tail piece and then spin it round, and then you sort of fold it and then twizzle it round and then fold it down, and then these pieces fold round and hold it in place. And then it's just a case of straightening the arms out. Yeah. And there we are. And there is Jawscop in his robot mode, and what a transformation! You look at the shark car that he forms, and like I said, you get this goofy, sort of shark vehicle, and then it turns into a robot that looks like this, and you look at it and you're like, oh, where's the shark car gone? You wouldn't think this transforms from that car. It's a pretty cool looking robot. I mean, when you go round the back, obviously it's not too bad, but you can see, like, there's the shark maw. The shark, head is on the back of his legs. In fact, you can, if you want, you can reform the shark head on the back, up the back of his legs. But it looks really, really cool. It's got some nice colours going on. Obviously, you've got the two-tone blue, you've got the light blue, and then you've got the darker blue, and also you've got the transparent blue bits as well. You've got the white and the black, and then you've got like these little hints of orange and a little bit of gold. It looks really, really cool. His head sculpt, he's got quite a squat head, kind of sort of squat and pointy. It's got like a fairly serious brow going on with two little eyes peeking out from underneath, but looks kind of cool. Got a little fin on the top. So this guy looks pretty awesome in his robot mode. Quick size comparison. There he is next to Combiner Wars Mechs. So he's a good, solid, leader class size bot. And that's his robot mode. Now, articulation. As this is a Korean toy, you get the usual thing. It's not the most articulated thing in the world. And also, because of the way this guy is designed and because of the kibble management on it, the articulation isn't quite as good as you'd expect it to, and it's quite hampered in a few areas. So, starting at the head. Now, the head doesn't move, but this collar piece that goes around the bottom is attached to this blue piece. Now, I'll just move the arms out of the way. If you lift this bit up, you can, get some head movement, but it's attached to the back of this thing's attached to the back of his neck. So to get the head rotation, you've got to move this thing around, and it's a really, really weird arrangement. And this tail section is really huge, and when it stows around the back, you've got these other fin pieces which sort of fold in and hold it in place, but it takes up a lot of real estate at the back. And he's got these big bulky shoulders which, as you can see, they sort of only just manage to pass by it. Yeah, so there's clearance issues on this guy. Now, like I said, head's restricted. Shoulders, they go all the way round. There is a butterfly joint, but again, it keeps hitting this backpack thing. If you get that out of the way, you can pull the arm up a bit. The backpack is kind of annoying when you're trying to pose the arms because of the bulk on the shoulders. It keeps hitting the backpack. The arms, they don't quite go to 90 degrees. No bicep swivel. It has got opening mitts on his hands due to transformation. Yeah, so the arms are kind of restricted. It's a shame the shoulders don't come out anymore, really. They're kind of limited in the scope of their movement. No waist joint. The hips, you've got these orange hips, go forwards and back, and they go in and out, but you've got, again, this kibble piece hits this waist piece, so it restricts the waist movement. You can get a decent spread though. Now it does have bicep swivels, but they're kind of loose. They're not very tight. And then the legs. Now he does have double knee joints, but with all this kibble on the back of his legs, you can't get much use out of them. That's about as far back as they go. Not quite 90 degrees, because you can see all the kibble on the back just scrunches up and jams everything up. So yeah, very, very restricted. Now this guy has got kind of fidgety legs because of these double joints in his knees and because of all the kibble flapping around on the back. So he can be difficult to get into dynamic poses. So he looks great, but there's not a lot you can actually do with him. And especially when you get down to the feet. I mean, he's got these small feet, and the bits of the shark do act as heel spurs, but as you can see, they don't plug in, they just sort of rest on the back of his legs. So he can be difficult to get him to stand up in a decent pose. I mean, getting him to balance properly, you have to keep messing around with the knees, the double knee joints, in order to get him to have a decent stance. Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag. Like I said, the car mode looks pretty goofy. Robot mode looks amazing, but the articulation kind of lets it down. The kibble management on it isn't that great. It's a big, heavy, well-made bot, but it's a shame that it doesn't do more than what it actually does. you know, it looks like it could do more, but it's a little limited in what you can do with it. So is this thing worth getting? Depends where you get it from. If you're gonna, you know, buy it off eBay, you're gonna get scalped to hell. If you buy it off G Market or 11th Street, you're still gonna, you know, you're still talking about at least 70-75 quid to get hold of one of these off those sites. You can get the Chinese one off AliExpress for probably about 45-50 quid. And yeah, so it's all right. It looks great. And like I said, I bought this because, you know, Rob Stein 1 got one, and I like the look of it, and I bought it. It's all right. It looks great in robot mode. It looks fantastic. It's a good looking bot. It's just a shame that, you know, it doesn't look as good as it doesn't move as good as it looks. So that's been my review of this thing. Miniforce Animaltron Jawscop. It's a bit of a mixed bag. It's in some ways it's a really, you know, cool bot. In other ways it's not so great. But there it is for what it is. And that's been my review for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And got another Korean toy in stock, which I will be reviewing next week. So yeah, I've been T4 Wilderness. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da.